Today's lesson is called Twins. Twice the trouble, double the fun. Hello everyone, my name is Jeff.
I'm Roger, and today we're talking about twins. Twins, of course, are very common. You probably know some. Basically, babies born at the same time. They can either be fraternal twins or identical twins, which we'll talk about in a couple of minutes. But, you know, I'm not a twin with anybody, and I don't think you are either. But do you know anybody who are twins at all?
Yeah, I grew up with some twins. They lived in my neighborhood there. Yes, they were born at the same time of the same mother. That being said, twins always know who came out first. And yes, they always say, yeah, I'm older by 5 or 10 minutes or by a few seconds or something like that. So they're born at the same time, but there is going to be a little bit of time difference in their delivery. But yes, they did come out of the same mother at the same time. And yes, if that happens to be you or describes you and one of your siblings, then you happen to be a part of a twin team. Anyways, I already have one kid. One kid is good enough for me. I don't know what I would have done if when my wife gave birth, 2 kids came out. It says here that yes, twins are twice the trouble, double the fun, but I don't see how twins can be double the fun. I can only see how having 2 kids at one time can be twice the trouble, because having a kid, let's face it, it's not an easy thing to do. Kids are not easy to raise. Anyways, let's go ahead and take a short break, but when we come back, we'll start reading from our article.
Twins. Twice the trouble, double the fun. In many parts of the world, twins account for about 1% of births. These special siblings have always attracted attention for both their remarkable connection to each other and the shared appearance they sometimes have. Want to learn more about twins? Here are some facts.
大家好，第一部分我们看到一个片语 account for， 课文中用来代表占点点点的比例、数量、组成、构成。例如 Foreign orders account for 30% of our business. 国外订单占了我们生意的 30%。另外补充2个 account for 其他常见的意思。首先 account for 可以指导致或是点点点的原因。举例来说 The bad weather accounted for all of the damage that was done to the town. 恶劣天气造成了这个城镇所有的损失。再来我们还会用 account for 来表示对点点点提出解释说明。所以我们可以说 In the television news story, the reporter couldn't account for the disappearance of the young child. 电视新闻记者未能对那名幼童的失踪提出说明。再来我们看到名词 sibling 指兄弟姐妹或手足，像是 Being the only child in the family, Sandy envies those who have siblings. 身为家中唯一一个小孩 Sandy 羡慕那些有兄弟姐妹的人。
Okay, so again, we're talking about twins in today's program. We're describing them as being twice the trouble, but they are double the fun. So oftentimes when we talk about something being in a higher quantity of something, we say twice something, twice the trouble. You could also say double the trouble. And in this case, we're also describing them as being double the fun. So yes, indeed, if you do have twins, you've got your hands full. Raising kids takes a lot of work. And they often say that, hey, maybe if you have 2 kids, they can play with each other and then you can go off to the side and play with your phone or something. But nope. Having more than 1 kid is actually more work than that. So I guess that's why twins are twice the trouble. But still, you love the kids, you love your twins, so they're double the fun.
Yeah, you hope so at least. You hope in the end, if you survive, that having 2 kids that are the same age, 2 kids that are born at the same time, you hope that this is going to be double the fun. But like I said before, it's really easy to see how twins would be twice the trouble or double trouble. It's not so easy to see, I guess, at the beginning, how twins can be double the fun. Again, I'm focusing on the trouble aspect. The only thing I can think right now, how difficult it was to get our daughter to sleep for the first few months there. She cried all night long. If we had two kids at the same time crying for months on end, I don't know if my wife and I would have survived. We might have just conked out due to the pressure and the strain and the stress. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started here. It says, in many parts of the world, twins account for about 1% of births. So about 1 out of every 100 births results in twins. By the way, sometimes women have even more than 2 kids at one time. If a woman has 3 kids at one time, you call those kids triplets. And yes, you can also have quadruplets, 4 kids at one time, so on and so forth. But triplets and quadruplets, those are exceedingly rare. I mean, twins, having twins, that's already rare enough. Yes, twins represent or account for about 1% of births. So like I said before, that's already quite rare. Anyways, the phrase is to account for. Here, to account for something is to make up an amount, of some larger whole. Here we're talking about all births, and yes, here twins account for 1% of all of those births. They make up that figure.
For example, I could say black people account for 12% of the American population. 12% of the people in the United States are black. But in this particular case, there's only about 1% of births that are actually twins. I thought the number was higher than that, but this is actually a fairly small number. And these special siblings have always attracted attention for both their remarkable connection to each other and the shared appearance they sometimes have. So, of course, your brothers, your sisters, those are your siblings. The word sibling just refers to your brothers and sisters without specific reference to their gender. So these siblings, these twins, they've always attracted attention for various reasons. We've got 2 reasons here, so we're saying both one thing and another. So they attract attention for both their remarkable connection to each other and for their shared appearance. So, first of all, we've got the word remarkable here. That means something that should be remarked upon because it's so wonderful, it's so great, it's so profound, it's so interesting. My goodness, you have to say something about it. Ooh, that is so remarkable.
Yes, if something is remarkable, it's amazing. It's worthy of note, it's striking, surprising, etc. And yes, twins, they do have a remarkable connection. Very often, twins are thinking the same things at the same times. Sometimes they have their own language that they speak in and stuff like that. Yes, twins are super cool. Yeah, I once watched a show with triplets, actually, and they sit there together. They're 3 identical girls, and they're all thinking the exact same stuff at the same time, so they're kind of talking back and forth in their own language and laughing at the same jokes at the same times because, yes, they do share this remarkable connection. And apparently this connection, it persists for twins as well, or twins have it too. They have this amazing connection to one another. Anyways, want to learn more about twins? Well, here are some facts. And yes, we'll start listing out these facts right after we take a break.
There are 2 types of twins, fraternal and identical. Fraternal twins develop from 2 separate eggs in the womb. They often don't look all that similar and can in fact be sister and brother. Identical twins, on the other hand, are formed when a single egg splits into 2. Because of this, identical twins usually look alike and are always either sisters or brothers. Twins are not carbon copies. To the relief of police departments everywhere, twins have different fingerprints because fingerprints aren't completely determined by genes. Similarly, no 2 people, not even twins, have identical belly buttons, which get their shape when the end of the cut umbilical cord falls off.
第二部分我们看到一个单字 womb， 这个字是名词，指子宫。例如 The baby stayed in the mother's womb during pregnancy for about 10 months. 怀孕期间，宝宝待在妈妈的子宫中约10个月。接着我们看到名词 cord， 在课文中指的是身体内的带，例如 umbilical cord 为脐带，像是 On occasion, a baby can be born with the umbilical cord wrapped around the neck. 有时候胎儿出生时会有脐带绕颈的现象。另外 cord 更常用来指细绳，所以可以说 Pull the cord if you want to open the curtains. 如果你想开窗帘，就拉那条细绳。
Okay, first of all, we need to talk about the different kinds of twins that there are. There are two types of twins, fraternal and identical. Usually fraternal means something to do with brothers, but in this particular case, fraternal means twins that are born at the same time, but they come from different eggs, so they're not going to look alike. They're going to actually be quite different, and I believe they can be different genders as well. And then the other type of twin is the identical twin, which means they came from the same egg that later split in the uterus, and therefore they look exactly alike. Again, fraternal is Yiran, and identical is Tongran. That's what they are in Chinese. I do happen to have a friend who has a couple of sons that are fraternal twins, and because they're fraternal twins, they don't look at all alike, even though they're both boys. They're totally different in appearance and in personality.
Yeah, they have a family resemblance, let's say, but they don't look identical. They don't look the same as one another. That's the deal with fraternal twins. And yes, the twins that you asked me about during the introduction, they were indeed fraternal twins. Ben and Sarah, they were the same age. They were definitely twins, but they didn't look alike. In fact, one was a girl and one was a boy. How can you be identical if you have different genders? Anyways, yes, here the word identical describes something that is the same. If two things are identical, they're exactly the same, and there are identical twins out there. Not only do they look alike, their DNA is the same as well. How cool is that? Anyways, it says fraternal twins develop from two separate eggs in the womb. Okay, two different eggs, two different people. Now, they often don't look all that similar and can in fact be sister and brother, not unlike Ben and Sarah, the twins I knew growing up. Now, identical twins on the other hand, are formed when a single egg splits into two, and Roger, you mentioned this earlier. Here we have the same egg, and that egg is going to split into two. But here's the idea. Two eggs, two different people. One egg that splits into two, well, that is going to be the same person in two places. So you have identical twins. Now, are they the same person? No, but they're perfect copies of one another. Anyways, before we move on, let's talk about this verb split. Here, to split something is to cut something in half, or to somehow make things separate into two equal parts.
Right, split, and it's often used with a preposition. In this particular case, we've got into, to split into two. You could also say split up, especially if you're talking about couples. Hey, you know what happened to Dave and Vicky? I don't see them together anymore. Well, they split up. They broke up. They're no longer a couple. But here, the egg splits into two. It separates into two separate eggs, even though they have the same DNA, so then you're going to have identical twins. So, as it says here in the next sentence, because of this, identical twins usually look alike and are always either sisters or brothers. So you can't have identical twins that are a boy and a girl. They have to be the same gender.
There you go. Identical twins are always either sisters or brothers. You can't have a set of identical twins where one's a boy and one's a girl. That's just not going to work. Anyways, it says here twins are not carbon copies. So here, this is where we've got to really start homing in on the details. Yes, identical twins do have identical DNA, but throughout life, are they going to have the exact same experiences and thus become clones of one another or something like that? No, twins are not carbon copies. Anyways, yes, to the relief of police departments everywhere, twins have different fingerprints because fingerprints aren't completely determined by genes. There you go. If genetics had its way, they would look exactly the same. But fingerprints are not determined entirely by genes. So identical twins could be identical in every single way other than fingerprints.
Indeed, and of course, police departments need to have fingerprints from different people so they can tell them apart. If you got twins with identical fingerprints, the police would have trouble determining who the guilty person is if one of those twins committed a crime. So again, they have different fingerprints, and those are, the little designs, the circles and stuff on your fingers. Similarly, no two people, not even twins, have identical belly buttons. That is fascinating. I really wanted to know that, so I guess even an identical twin can have an innie and the other one can have an outie.
Yeah, you've got to snip that umbilical cord, and then it's got to fall off, and that's going to determine your belly button. Again, though, that's not going to be determined by genetics. That's going to be determined by how your doctor snips that umbilical cord or something like that, and then the cord, what's left of it, falls off. That forms the belly button. That is not determined by genetics. So there you go, your belly button. Well, that is not going to be the same, even if you are one half of an identical twin team. And this is going to go for your fingerprints as well, if you happen to be an identical twin. Now, it says, similarly, no two people, not even twins, have identical belly buttons, which get their shape when the end of the cut umbilical cord falls off. So there you go. Fingerprints and belly buttons are a whole lot like snowflakes, even when it comes to identical twins. All right, everyone, with that, it's time for us to take a break, but don't go away. When we come back, we'll be wrapping up the first part of our article on twins.
Twins are on the increase. The birth rate for fraternal twins has increased significantly in the last 40 years, partly because older mothers are more likely to have twins. On top of that, more women are using infertility treatments, which also increase the chances of multiple birth.
第三部分我们看到单字 partly， 这个字是副词，指部分的或某种程度上。例如 Tom is partly to blame for the accident because he wasn't paying attention to the road while he was driving.Tom 被谴责在某种程度上造成此事故，因为他在开车时并没有专注。再来，我们看到名词 infertility， 在课文中有不孕之意，所以我们可以说 Helen goes to the infertility clinic once a month. Helen 一个月去不孕门诊一次。另外 infertility 除了有不孕的意思外，还可以指贫瘠，像是 The residents on this mountainside can't farm because of the infertility.由于这块山坡地的贫瘠，居民无法耕作。最后我们看到一个单字 multiple， 这个字是形容词，指多重用途的。举例来说 The customer service department received multiple complaints about our latest software update. 客服部收到好多对我们最新软体更新的客诉。又或者说 The patient of the crash was treated for multiple injuries.那名车祸伤患因多重伤势而接受治疗。
All right, we've been talking about some fun facts about twins, and we talked about the two types of twins, fraternal twins and identical twins, and we also mentioned the fact that twins are not 100% carbon copies of each other. Well, here in the third part of the lesson, we've got another amazing fact for you. Twins are on the increase, which means there are more and more twins in the world these days. On the increase could also be phrased as on the rise, which means, as I said, there are getting more and more of these things. For example, I could say, oh, be careful because crime is on the rise, or accidents involving electric bicycles are on the rise. There are more and more accidents like that. So, gee, this is kind of interesting. There are more and more twins being born.
There you go. Twins are on the increase. Get this, the birth rate for fraternal twins has increased significantly in the last 40 years, partly because older mothers are more likely to have twins. So apparently women are having children later and later in their lives, and because older mothers are more likely to have twins, we have more twins now than we did before, like 40 years ago or so. Anyways, on top of that, i.e. there's more women are using infertility treatments, which also increase the chances of multiple birth. And yes, here we have infertility treatments. These are not treatments that are going to make you infertile, okay? These are treatments that are going to take care of your infertility. These treatments will make you fertile or more likely to have children. Now, at the very beginning of this sentence as well, we have this phrase on top of that. And this phrase means in addition, or what's more, or furthermore.
Absolutely. So because you might be infertile, you go to see the doctor and you get some treatments for this. And so women are doing that more and more, as perhaps because they're older, it's more difficult for them to get pregnant. So this has also increased the chances of a multiple birth. Multiple just means many. As we talked about earlier, you might end up having twins or triplets or quadruplets or whatever. So be careful with those infertility treatments. You might have more children than you know what to deal with. Okay, that brings us to the end of our explanation for today. It's time now to hear from our Chinese teacher.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。课文一开始提到说 In many parts of the world, twins account for about 1% of births. 在世界上许多地方，双胞胎大约占了出生人口的1%。好，句子里面有一个片语叫 account for， 它在这边是指占多少比例，占多少数量，或者是指组成、构成。那意思就跟 make up 或者是 compose 一样。我们就顺便来学习其他表达组成、构成的用法。第一种呢，就是以整体来当主词，那它的句型就是整体加上 be made up of 或者是be composed of 再加上部分。例如 The restaurant staff is made up of 15 people， 也可以说 The restaurant staff is composed of 15 people， 表示说那间餐厅的工作人员是由15个人组成的。好，那另外一个动词 consist 也可以表达组成、构成，可是它没有被动用法，所以你的句型会是整体加上 consist of 加上部分。像刚刚的例句，你可以说 The restaurant staff consists of 15 people， 也可以表达相同语义。好，第二种用法呢，是以部分来当主词，那它的句型会是部分加上 make up 或是加上 compose 再加上整体。例如 5 boys and 5 girls make up the group， 5个男孩和5个女孩组成的那个团体。再看个例句哦 Experts from different fields compose the team， 来自不同领域的专家组成了这支团队。好，那课文第二部分一开始介绍到异卵双胞胎 fraternal twins。 异卵双胞胎是由子宫里面2颗不同的卵子发展而来的，它们通常看起来没有那么像，而且可能是一男一女。那接着课文就提到说 Identical twins, on the other hand, are formed when a single egg splits into two。 另一方面，同卵双胞胎是由一颗卵子一分为2所形成的。好，这边用到一个副词片语叫做 on the other hand， 它表示另一方面。那这个用语可以摆在句首或是句中，用来引出另一个跟前面叙述有差异或是对比的状况。举例来说 Ian is a very quiet person. His sister, on the other hand, is very talkative. Ian 是个安静内向的人，另一方面呢，他的姐姐很多话，很健谈。好，顺便补充一下 on the other hand 前面也常常会搭配 on the one hand 来表达一方面怎么样，另一方面怎么样。那这是用来引出2种不同或是相反的观点或是事实。例如 On the one hand, I'd like to hang out with my friends this weekend.On the other hand, I still have a lot of work to do. 一方面呢，我周末想要跟朋友们出去闲晃，但另一方面我还有很多工作要做。好，以上就是今天重点整理，我们回顾今天单字吧。
Remarkable.
The building is a remarkable example of modern architecture. Identical. I accidentally took Sam's phone because it looks identical to mine. Split. The students split into several groups to work on the assignment. Cord. After the baby was born, the doctor cut and tied the cord. Partly. Ben finally admitted that he was partly responsible for the mistake. Multiple. After going through numerous interviews, Candace got job offers from multiple companies.
Okay, everyone. With that, today's article is now complete. But, as always, we sure hope that you guys have enjoyed reading along with us. Anyways, I'm Jeff.
I am Roger.
See you next time.